We're ready.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Madam Secretary.
The board met in executive session and we discussed a matter related to the employment of a particular person. No official action was taken.
Thank you. Okay, so regarding our consent agenda, the board met previously during the committee of the whole meeting this morning to discuss all of these items in detail. We have items 1 through 9 for approval. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 9?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We also have items 1 through 16 for board information. Those items have already been vetted and discussed. And if there aren't any other questions or comments, we'll move to the Policy and Governance Committee. Chair Maciello.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. We have 2 board policies and a managerial policy before us today. The first is one that relates to service, emotional support, pets, therapy animals. This policy will bring SUNY Erie into compliance with ADA, which requires reasonable accommodations be made to students and employees with disabilities. It defines the difference between service animals, emotional support animals, pets, and therapy animals. Because emotional support animals are covered under the Department of Housing and Urban Development's Fair Housing Act and only impact housing, which SUNY Erie does not provide, emotional support animals do not, and they don't assist with the daily living tasks of students. Students are not allowed to have emotional support animals on campus. Employees, however, with documentation from their doctor, may ask that their emotional support animal be considered as a reasonable accommodation, and in such cases, it will go to Human Resources, and approval has to be received before the employee can bring any animal onto campus. The policy defines where no animals are allowed because of health and safety reasons, and requires that emotional support and therapy animals must be under their handler's direct control. It also requires that the tasks performed by these animals be directly related to the handler's disability. Generally, the policy states that all animals, including pets, are not permitted in the facilities of Erie Community College, except for authorized college events. The policy states that service, emotional, and therapy animals cannot be disruptive to their surroundings or to other members of the SUNY Erie community. And it defines what disruptive behavior is. It also notes that handlers are responsible and liable to pay for any and all damages that their animal may cause to people and property. Requires that all handlers designate an emergency contact and that they, in the event of an illness or emergency, HR knows who to contact if the animal becomes a problem. The policy also notes that no animals may be, no live animals may be brought onto the SUNY Erie property for the purposes of feeding a social, emotional, or therapy animal. And it also provides guidance to staff regarding what questions they can and cannot ask to handlers in light of the requirements of ADA. Does anybody have any questions?
I'll move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Or any opposed? Sorry.
I just thought I heard a dog voting in favor as
Yeah,
well.
I did. We definitely heard a dog vote.
It also, there are some horses that can be, that qualify as service animals too, just FYI, which is also in the policy. Great. The next policy up is the procurement policy, and I want to thank Bill and everybody who's worked on this. It's been a lot of work to consolidate various policies into a single purchasing policy. In accordance with general municipal law, SUNY Erie Board of Trustees must annually review its procurement policy, which covers the purchase of commodities, services, specialized products like software, technology-related services, as well as procurement of professional, architectural, engineering, and like services. In addition to defining terminology, this policy requires that all college contracts be approved by the Erie County Department of Law prior to being brought to the Board of Trustees and or the Erie County Legislature for approval where appropriate. The policy specifies the approval process for contracts and the dollar thresholds that trigger additional approvals. And the policy defines the competitive bid process requirements, public works contracts, professional and personal services, and specialized product contracts and their exceptions. Does anybody have any questions about the procurement policy?
I'll move it.
Len?
Is there a second?
Just a quick question before we vote. Bill, would you characterize this as an amalgamation of our existing policies into one without significant change in those policies? Or is there buried within here changes? Or are we just basically aligning with law?
We are aligning with law and combining several outstanding policies into one more comprehensive policy and staying within the confines of general municipal law.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. I just wanted to confirm. Thanks.
And I want to say thanks to Paul Deneau. He was, I know Kate gave me accolades, but it was really Paul Deneau that really did this. So thanks, Paul.
Policy then?
Right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay.
And then for the board's information, there's a bank reconciliation policy, which provides for the timely completion and review of bank reconciliations. It notes what positions are responsible for completing bank reconciliations on a monthly basis and what documentation must accompany completed reconciliations. It also provides a timetable for reconciling discrepancies within 30 days of the reconciled month, a timeline for reviewing stale checks. It specifies where bank account information and reconciliations will be stored, as well as how long these documents will be retained, which is 6 years. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Thank you.
And I will move the policy. Oh, no, it's just for board information, so we don't need to vote on it. Lastly, I just note that the minutes of the October 12th Policy Committee meeting that were approved at the January 5th meeting will be included on the next Board of Trustees packet for next month. And that's my report.
Thank you. Still a little bit out of order because I know Trustee Poling has to leave. Do you have anything you want to add for your student report?
At this time, I don't have anything significant to present to the board.
Okay, just wanted to make sure we included you before you had to go to class. So it seems that we have everything that needed approval approved. I know we'll lose Trustee Poling because he has class. And so now if I can go back up to the presentation of the YEC Hub.
Thank you, Chairwoman Wilson. I am Katrina Hell-Cheatham, Dean of Students for City Campus. As part of my role as the Dean of Students for City Campus, I also oversee the Opportunity Program grants and services, which includes Say Yes, Middle Early College, MOMS, Mid-Merit, Independence Bound, and Student Transportation Services. And now, to include the most recent grant opportunity awarded to SUNY Erie this past December is the Youth Employment Coalition. We call the Youth Employment Coalition YEC. So as the one of 3 co-chairs for the YEC Coalition, specifically the steering committee and also the resource group charged with implementing the YEC action plan. SUNY Erie received over $688,000 in the grant just this past December. We are also pending an additional award from Bank of America. So we are very proud to have this opportunity here at SUNY Erie Community College that will take precedence for this new initiative that will really combine over 58 partners in the community with support and services that we offer here at the college to address opportunity youth. My objective for today's presentation, I plan to make the business case for why the YEC Initiative, defining the YEC Initiative, why the hub, why SUNY Erie, why are we housing this initiative, and why now? I'm hoping at the conclusion of this presentation, we will all see that the YEC Initiative and this new opportunity that will be housed here at the SUNY Erie City Campus is the new frontier for youth ages 16 to 24. So, and Bob, I know you're handling the PowerPoint for me if you want to advance to slide number 2. Thank you, Bob. So the Career Hub, what is the YEC? So in around 2018, a group of funders, specifically Oshai, Ralph Wilson, employers, community-based organizations, educational opportunities, all worked together to provide opportunities for young people with appropriate resources to achieve educational and employment goals, got together to form a coalition for youth employment. The coalition's purpose was to address educational and training opportunities for youth in the community, and to really focus on how we can improve those opportunities for youth. At the same time, in 2018, the Community Foundation of Greater Buffalo started the Racial Equity Roundtable, removing barriers to promote a more inclusive and expansive, diverse workforce and community. Over 35 leaders engaged in this work, with over 350 partners that collaborated together to improve opportunities for everyone that live and work within Western New York. The Community Foundation focused on 14 initiatives addressing systems change for Western New York. And I'm proud to say that the newest initiative under the umbrella of the impressive work of the Community Foundation is called Youth Opportunities. So in 2019, the Community Foundation commissioned a study by the Center for Government and Research to study youth employment and opportunities in Western New York. The impetus, was the juvenile justice work and concern about the many youth in Buffalo that were very disappointed and lacked hope in their opportunities for employment and educational opportunities here in the region. So this study looked at several things after interviewing several groups of constituent individuals in the community. And what they found from this study was that youth in the area did not know where to go to access educational opportunities and training. And I think this first bullet point is so important for us as a post-secondary institution in an open access institution. That speaks volumes if youth in Buffalo feel that as long as we have been around in the community, that they are unaware that ECC is here to benefit them and help them to achieve their goals speaks volumes. In addition, youth workers were quoted as being confused about the opportunities in which they were charged with communicating educational training and opportunities for youth. Education and employment opportunities were cited as needing to be easier to navigate and access, and needed to be more clear for youth and those that work with you. In addition, it was highlighted through the study that the Community Foundation commissioned that it was important for, based on youth feedback, that they wanted to participate in education and training, but they highlighted that these opportunities needed to be safe and needed to be in an environment where they felt safe to travel to receive services. I think that is also a key point that I want to highlight about why this makes so much sense for us to house the hub here at SUNY Erie's city campus. Based upon that CGR study and report that was commissioned, by the Community Foundation, it was one of the most overarching recommendations that the foundation form a coalition of 50 plus partners who would bring their assets to this coalition in order to stand up and develop an action plan that would improve educational opportunities and training for youth in the area. And hence the YEC Coalition was born. Based upon the coalition of the 59 plus partners, what we worked on for a period of almost 2 years was to develop an action plan that had 4 pillars and based on 4 work groups: data, youth apprenticeship, employer engagement, youth engagement, and programs to pathways. Now, the
Katrina,
last, yes.
is the PowerPoint keeping up with your presentation? I seem to think no.
Probably
On
not.
mission and goal. I mean, it seems like with the slides aren't keeping up.
Okay, we can advance, Bob. One more slide. Thank you. And I will be here in 1 second. So what's most important, thank you, Kate. What's most important about the 4 pillars that represent the action plan and the YEC planning? The most important pillar for us is the programs to pathway education and training work group. I co-chaired this work group with Stephen Tucker from Northlands Training Center. And as a co-chair, it was our role and responsibility to highlight programs, meaning academic programs to career pathways. This was the core initiative for the YEC Coalition. Although the other pillars are also equally important for us here at SUNY Erie, this was the most important pillar. What's important to note about this work is that the YEC is part of the Aspen Institute, where there is a coalition of 38 communities that work with Opportunity Youth in the network. And we term Opportunity Youth as those youth that are not engaged in school or employed currently. And so, Bob, we can go back to slide 3, please. Thank you. So the mission and goal of the YEC Coalition is really, the mission is to use a racial equity lens to build up and to make a strong, more coordinated youth employment system, which centers on youth voice to effectively coordinate youth that are 16 to 24 and to identify career pathways that would lead to self-sustaining wages for not just youth, but also their families. The goal of the YEC is to identify those career pathways that will help to change the life circumstances and impact those youth and their families for years to come and generations to come. And most importantly, what we know about this work and what we feel passionately about for those of us that serve on the coalition is that SUNY Erie has such a large geographic footprint with regard to how our 3 campuses are situated, as well as our mission of open access, that it only made logical sense for us to become a main partner in this initiative and to take on this work as we continue to forward push our mission in the community. So let's talk a little bit about who we're talking about when we mention Opportunity Youth. In the 2020 census, it stated that the city of Buffalo population had increased by 7%. The census also stated that roughly out of its residents, over 900,000 in Buffalo, that 108,000 are between the ages of 16 and 24. About 60% of the youth roughly are of color and represent diversity, and 33% of the youth live in poverty. In fact, my colleague Dave Russ from Say Yes, who is also a partner in this initiative, did some preliminary research and found that over 60% of the families for Say Yes live below the means of $20,000 a year. So again, this makes sense why we are engaged in this work. Buffalo also has become one of the largest refugee settlement communities, where over 82 languages are spoken in the Buffalo public schools. As we know, BPS is one of our largest feeders to SUNY Erie, and it is also the 82 languages, one of the largest school districts in New York State, where over 82 languages are being spoken. So the DEI work of equity and diversity, this again makes sense that we're engaged in this work. This work are the students that we're currently assisting and the students that we will continue to assist in the future. So when you talk about bottom line, our bottom line is our college enrollment base has been decreasing since 2010. SUNY Erie is in a unique position to change our market focus and partner with over 59 coalition partners to address what makes logical sense for us to be engaged in this partnership. Youth opportunity is the new frontier and is the new traditional high school market for SUNY Erie. What is most important is that our mission says that we believe in all students and that all individuals have the right to education. We only need to give this population the opportunity. So they have the talent, they need the opportunity. What's most important about the hub, and Bob, you can advance to slide 4. Out of this work and our study with the coalition, as well as the CGR study, we learned quite a few things. Most importantly, that the youth in the community said they wanted a central hub to go to, hang out, feel connected, learn of opportunities for education and training. At the same time, we learned that those providers, over the 59 partners in Buffalo, stated that they were confused about what options they should be directing youth into. They did not understand how to get connected with education and training, and it was overwhelming. So one of the most important things for this hub is that we're going to take those two perspectives, from that of the youth and from that of youth workers, and we're going to build that up and stand up a hub that will be community facing and college facing, where we're going to work internally with all of our support services and networks in order to improve the number of youth that come through Erie Community Colleges or SUNY Erie's campuses, as well as the community of downtown Buffalo. We will stand up this hub. It will be a physical location at City Campus 45 Oak that will be centrally located, clear of gang territory, which is exactly what the youth said they wanted, where they can come and feel safe, could be connected, could learn about education and training, and be referred to the 59 plus external partners, as well as the internal partners and departments here at the college, and learn about what options are available to them so they can begin to change their lives. A second phase of the hub is not just the physical location, but what's going to tie us together in the greater Buffalo region, and also with our 59 plus partners are a digital or is a digital platform. Our digital platform will be available 24/7, 365 days a year, where youth and youth workers will be able to go to the website and learn of educational and training opportunities. There will be a component of a live web chat where they can communicate with our hub staff in order to find out on the spot what their next steps are in the process of beginning to change their lives and what options are available. And also, I wanted to mention that it is important to understand that all of this work and this future possibility would not have been possible if it were not for Interim President Bill Reuter saying yes to the call from Clotilde Dedecker of the Community Foundation, as well as the Board of Trustees, especially Trustee Mazziello and Chairwoman Wilson. This work is vitally important to what we do. It's going to be critical to our sustainability in the community, as well as an opportunity to help youth that are diverse, that will be able to secure not just training and education, but also be connected to high wage sustaining jobs that will move them out of poverty for their families and also for themselves. What's important about this work to mention is that we are going to be, as Clotilde has stated, the shining new door for Western New York, so that this hub, everyone will come through SUNY Erie to navigate this youth employment and training option. We're going to be the highlight of the community, and it is such an importantly vital opportunity for SUNY Erie. And we are so fortunate to be involved in this partnership with our 59 plus partners, as well as our funders, in order to change not just the life circumstances of our diverse community, but also to further the goals and objectives of youth who want to be trained, who have the opportunity to be trained and want to do better and live more productive lives, but are confused about what options are available for them. So I'm very optimistic about this initiative. We are going live, and Bob, if you would like to advance to slide 5. We are going live with the digital platform over the summer. And in addition to that, I just want to quickly highlight what groups we're going to focus on for the hub. So the hub will focus on those youth that need traditional pathways and options. We've already started working with youth in high school that want to drop out, given the fact that they don't feel connected or engaged, or they feel bullied for whatever reason. So those meetings with BPS have already started, and with our Pathways program, and Justin Kernan is a part of that discussion and planning with me. Our post-secondary alternatives, there will be many connections to our certificate and degree programs from our hub staff, in connection with admissions. And Phil and I from admissions have already started having those communications over the summer about how the YEC will play a vital role in what the college currently does. and then youth that have stopped out and are in need of a GED. So our hub staff will work with those students as well as seniors graduating from high school who have weak plans or no ties to post-secondary institutions. Youth also that have graduated from high school and are underemployed, working at McDonald's and Tim Hortons and those jobs of that sort, we will also focus on and begin to help them to take the next step, which is post-secondary education and or training. So our hub staff will closely work with building relationships with our 59 plus partners, our anticipated student groups. They will offer career assessments and success plans. They will follow each of the students or youth that come through the hub in order to mark them as a success. And what we call a success would be receiving a credential, a certificate or degree, getting their GED, completing high school, or completion of vocational training. Our slide number 7, Bob, hub staffing will be initially, that's supported by the grant, 1 full-time director, 2 case managers or success coaches, and then 2 part-time peer connectors. It's important to say that this hub is being modeled after 3 Aspen communities, Philadelphia, Cleveland, and Seattle. Most importantly, Seattle is the one city that we've been working most closely with. And so everything that we're implementing here at the college in the hub has been tried and tested and proven as a sustainable initiative and model through the eyes of Seattle. So I feel very fortunate that they're guiding us and making sure that we are eliminating a lot of the pitfalls that initial projects happen to incur. And then our slide 8, our implementation timeframe. Between December and February, we're working on hiring the staff. March and April is dedicated to onboarding and also a soft opening of the hub. And then May, a grand opening with major marketing plans and initiatives, and Community Foundation will hire a national marketing firm to work with us to really promote this initiative. And then June through July, we'll go live with the digital platform for the hub that will sustain the activities of the hub and connect all of the partners. So thank you for allowing me a few minutes, the time to discuss the YEC initiative and to make the case why this is so important for SUNY Erie. And most importantly, why now, why us, and why the group of young adults 16 to 24. In order to help our economy and our college enrollment, this makes logical sense for us to be engaged in this work. We care about our community. We care about our youth. We can really care about diversity. So it makes logical sense that we're engaged in this work. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrina. I just want to echo your comments on how important this is. This is 3 years in the making. Millions of dollars have been invested in creating a youth employment system where none existed before, and it's all culminating in this hub that's going to be housed at SUNY Erie, which is really such a testament to the faith that our community has in the college. And so I want to thank everybody for banding together to make this happen. It's a really, really big deal. When Katrina talks about 59 partners, you know, some of those partners are the city, the county, the court system. I mean, everybody's watching. Everybody's watching to make sure that we do this right. And while the focus is going to be on youth ages 16 to 24 who have disengaged with education or with employment, it's for anybody who lives in Erie County that age. So everybody's child can take advantage of this. and they're going to be able to go in and, discover what they have an aptitude for and what kind of fields they're interested in, and then get some advice on what jobs align with those interests. And they're going to be helped identify their life goals. What kind of timetable are they looking at? What kind of money do they want to make? And then they're going to be able to identify what additional skills they need, and then find out what jobs they're interested in. These are not, minimum wage, dead end jobs. This is jobs in healthcare, advanced manufacturing, business services, IT, car technology. I mean, this really points out the really important role that case managers are going to play, who will be charged with building relationships with providers throughout our community, in addition to the supports and the training that we provide here at the college. These case managers are going to need to be plugged into all that goes on in our community, and they're going to provide warm handoffs to these students who come in, these youth who come in, and help them access many support services that have existed for a long time in our community, but that have never been coordinated. So I just think this is going to cement SUNY Erie's role as a central player in all of workforce development in Western New York. And I want to thank you, Katrina, for bringing us this far, as well as Adiam and Bill and everybody who has had a chance to, recognize the value that this is going to bring to the college and how important it is for us to provide this community service to all of Erie County. And, I'm just really proud to be part of it, and thank you all for moving this forward.
Jeff here, wow, I just say this is probably the most positive and exciting thing I've heard about in my 3 years on the board. I can't imagine something that seems more tailored to what we, from at least my remote perspective, what we really need, what every community needs, is a simplified entrance point for folks who are groping and don't quite know where to go, don't have the support that others may have. Hats off to the foundations that spearheaded this, and to Katrina for being a strong voice for SUNY Erie, being in the mix as a physical location for this. Incredibly exciting. Let's hear more about this almost on a monthly basis, as far as I'm concerned. Very, very exciting.
And having it at the college as the hub is huge for us. It's a step towards building up our enrollment, connecting with the youth of this community. I think it's terrific.
Well, you guys know exactly how I feel about this. I can't say it enough that the need is there. Just imagine yourself or someone you knew, 16-year-old, 17 years old, just not knowing which way to go. If you didn't have a dad or mom or uncle, they weren't a lawyer or a doctor or some other profession, you had no clue as to what you were doing next. And unfortunately, guidance is stretched in our school systems, and they just don't get that direction. I know I certainly didn't get clear direction in that system. And so for there to be a place where these students can go, these young people can go and not end up, not that it's anything wrong with it as a launching point, but not end up at the Walmarts, the Targets, not Target, because I love it, not the Tim Hortons, it changes generations, and that's what you have to understand. And SUNY Erie being a part of that is so important. We have to mitigate every single barrier internally to make sure that this works. We have a lot of pieces internally that has prolonged this project, or create a stumbling blocks. We got to break them down. We just have to break them down for the betterment of this student. And as Trustee Maciel said, everyone is watching, and we cannot fail. And so I thank Katrina and Bill and Adiam for all their work that they have done, and whomever else is on the team that I don't know of, to push this forward. I know there's been work with facilities and a lot of different departments, and I'm sure At some point, marketing will be put into this as well. So we all need to work on all cylinders. Any red tape, blue tape, green tape, I don't care. We have to figure out ways to work together to get around that so we can get this job done. I'm extremely excited about the idea of peer connectors. Youth relate to their peers, and we know research shows that this age range, that teenage age range, who are they most influenced by? Peers. Adults, no. Teachers, no. It's their peers. So to find peer connectors and peer, well, I don't know if the title is counselors or what have you, but that's so important. So I send positive energy and light throughout the search, and hopefully we get great candidates that are applying for these positions. So thank you, Patrina, for that presentation. To Jeff's point, Trustee Stone's point, we have a subcommittee that meets bi-weekly, I think, or is it monthly, bi-weekly? I don't know, I got so many meetings, just on this project. And this is one reason why the Curriculum Student Success and Diversity Committee is being pulled out of Committee of the Whole. So this can be discussed there as well, and other projects like that. So there will be a formal report out of this project going forward. So thank you again to everybody who participated, and we do have to move on. I know we're gonna lose more people, and I'm gonna, if it's okay with my co-chair Lynn Linehan, I'm gonna kind of combine the, oh wait, okay, no, I'm sorry. I think we're okay. I'm gonna combine the updates of my updates as well as the ad hoc committee reports. So in addition to working on the YEC, which I've been involved in, I want to say that as of late December, many of you know, we SUNY area approved our new president, Dr. David Balcom. He has been already involved in trying to navigate his transition plan. We've met regularly or spoke regularly, and have been working with Dr. Sagai and Gail and her team to coordinate what his first few days would look like. Everything happened really fast, really fast. I got a call from SUNY that there was going to be an emergency meeting call the next morning, and to prepare for that. And that's what we did. Then soon you guys, the college community, received the announcement thereafter. As of February 1st, we have tentative dates for a college-wide meet and greet. This is going to be a virtual event for Thursday, February, I'm sorry. Thursday, February 3rd. There will be a virtual meet and greet for the college-wide community where all of you are able to log in, ask questions, and talk to Dr. Boken. He decided to do a virtual event just because of COVID and not, wanting everyone to feel comfortable and safe, not being in a room together. Also, there's going to be several group meetings scheduled. So there will be individuals, but a lot of departmental meetings that will be scheduled for him, with him. And this is actually headed off by the schedule by Dr. Sagai. So thank you for doing that for us. And also there's other pieces to go within the transition, with the ad hoc transition committee. I'll also like to say that, again, thank you again. I had a chance to speak for a moment at convocation, and it was great to see everyone. I didn't get to stay on the whole time, but great to hear Bill's report and, hear from everyone else. But as I said, this next few years or year, what have you, it will take us all working on all cylinders and rowing the same direction. So we have to, I would just urge you guys to increase communication, increase transparency, and understand that we're working for a common goal and getting, and being successful as an institution. And I know we've overcome so many challenges in the past that I have no doubt that we'll get there. So that's my my brief report. And then I will have, if there's no questions or comments, just again want to publicly thank, let me do that. Let me publicly thank the search committee members, all of my board of trustees, fellow members. I'd like to thank Paula, Bob, Kelly, and Gail for all of their work. Want to thank Bill for his work. I want to also thank every other staff person who have impromptu meetings with me or what have you during this time to kind of help guide me throughout this process. So I just appreciate you. So thank you very much for that. All right. Now, with that being said, College Senate. Colleen, is she? Oh, I see her.
Colleen, you're muted.
Hello, sorry. How's everyone?
Very good, thanks.
Okay, good. So our first meeting for the Senate will be in 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks, on February 9th. We will be continuing meeting in person at North Campus, and we will be providing the YouTube stream similar to this meeting. We discussed it again at our Senate executive meeting earlier this week about having virtual options, but we decided that we get really good conversations between our senators and our attendees by having it in person. So we will be continuing in that format for the spring 22 semester. One of the things that we were waiting for feedback after this meeting and after Dr. Balkin comes and with Dr. Sagai, we usually have a president's report or greeting. So of course, Dr. Balkin is and Bill are welcome to address the Senate together, separately, not at all, you know, whatever works for everybody's schedule. But we're hoping that it's possible he could be available for that. And I'm sure Bob can work his magic to make an appearance virtual or in person for either one. So we're waiting on that. I know it's the Senate meeting's the 9th, and it's a few days, you know, it's 6 days, 3 business days after the virtual welcome event. So I know it's very crunched with time. So there's always our March meeting too. And, you know, I look forward to meeting with Dr. Balkin about all the different Senate projects and just bringing him up to date about what our organization does and how we can be helpful for his mission for the college moving forward. Other than that, we haven't really had anything new other than what I reported in the December meeting. Right now, before our next Senate meeting, we are lending support towards Dr. Sagai's initiative with the academic deans, which is to identify students before the 3rd week roster reports go out, which is our 3rd week rosters. Any student that has not attended yet, we mark them as not attended and pull them from our roster. We're trying as a college initiative to identify those students who have not yet attended courses and reach out to them individually to, you know, see what's going on, see what kind of support that we could give them, and, you know, letting them know that, you know, hey, it's not too late. We're only a couple weeks in. What can I do to support you? What do you need to come back or to start attending the class. We found that a lot of times our students, they get behind and then they just, don't know which way to go, which direction, or who to call or who to talk to. So we're trying to do a outreach now through the next 2 weeks for those students so that we do not have to mark them as inactive and we can keep them engaged this semester. But other than that, that's about it from us.
Thank you, Colleen. I'll follow up with you by email regarding the email that I sent after the December meeting. So I'll just resend that back out to you.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Report of the interim president.
Good morning and thank you. Bob's going to bring our enrollment numbers up on the screen as of this morning. It's certainly can you expand it? It's certainly a better position than we were a couple of weeks ago. We were hemorrhaging 15, 18, 20%. As of this morning, from compared to last spring, our head count's down 5.8% and our FTEs down 7.79%. We still have a significant number of advanced studies students to enroll, as well as the police academy class to enroll. Those numbers will be added to these. We are projecting, Phil Struble gave me a pretty good sense yesterday that we are looking to maybe come within 1% of last year's enrollment. And right now already we're at 95% of our enrollment on a headcount basis to the budget and 93% on an FTE basis. So I think we're seeing some positive trends. Colleen mentioned a number of initiatives. We received yesterday, Arna shared with me this morning that SUNY did a survey. 18 community colleges in the state had responded to that survey, and on average those 18 community colleges are down 10.64%. We're doing a little better than the other colleges. There are several that are down 15, 16, 18%. We've really worked very hard looking at our sections and our fill rate. Just 2 weeks ago, we had 648 sections that had 6 or fewer students enrolled. And we got that down to 334 sections. Last year we were at 401. So I thank Adiam and Juan and the academic deans and department chairs to really look at sections, offerings, and what makes the most sense for our students. So we will be really ramping up activities through the third week rosters and making sure never attends are taken out using Starfish. So I'm hoping that the next report provided will be very close to budget and very close to the prior year on enrollment. With that, I'm going to ask Mark Pachal to provide some talking points about COVID. My dream one day will be this is not on the agenda anymore, but the reality is for the time being it's going to be an update for the trustees. So Mark, are you on?
I am, sir. Thank you. I'll start with the SUNY update. First of all, I want to thank Dean Yoder. She has been a beacon of hope throughout this, and we are on with SUNY multiple times every week. We had a meeting with SUNY Wednesday. As you know, all students were required to be vaccinated and boosted if eligible. SUNY did advise us that any of the students who were in that process, if they haven't had their second shot or they haven't had a booster, they need to be granted a temporary medical exemption and be tested weekly until they finish that vaccine cycle. SUNY also did not have any updates from the governor's office on employee vax mandates, so there's no news there. Moving on to the county. County vaccination, or excuse me, the county positivity rate as of 8 o'clock this morning was 21.59%. It's a little bit up from yesterday, but about 10 days ago, Adim and Bill can attest to this, it was over 29% in Erie County. So we are trending down. I'm hoping today is a little blip. County continues to have a vaccine site open in Building 7. They reduced hours. They are only there 1 day a week on Mondays. And they continue to supply us with PPE. We picked up another replenishment order of masks and other items yesterday. At our institution, did talk with the county Tuesday. We had a emergency managers meeting. The county executive order that applies to all Erie County buildings regarding masking is still in effect. Also, the New York State mandate regarding masks was stayed on Tuesday in the appellate court, so the SUNY guidance is still in place. During the opening week of classes, we pool tested all students who are on campus. That was over 1,400 tests. Our test kits sent off in 12 individual tests into a pool, and those are sent to Quadrant Bioscience, our lab. 11 of those pools came back positive. It resulted in 54 cases positive, and we had 94 other positive cases from outside testing. So that first week, we had a total of 148 positive cases. It was a very busy week for our contact tracers and the investigators. We had over 70 students and staff in isolation that week. As of this morning, we are down to 10 students and staff in isolation. Going forward, weekly pool testing, we have to test at least all of our students who have religious or medical exemptions, any unvaccinated staff, and those eligible for the rest of their shot series, but under temporary medical exemptions. And most of those will be through pool testing. Bill, that's all I have, sir. Any questions?
Thank you, Mark, and I appreciate yours and Amy's effort and the whole college, the contact tracers, the individuals that staff the pool testing. This has been a very significant effort for our college to go through this now year 2, and hopefully we'll see a light at the end of the tunnel. The only other thing I'm even going to mention, I'll submit my written report, is Jeff had mentioned about the budget, the state budget that was released, and I just want to talk about some of the key points about the state budget. The big thing for community colleges, normally there's not much in it for community colleges to be happy about, but the starting point this year is at least 100% floor. And what does that floor mean? It means that whatever we received last year in state aid, that will be the starting point. So for us, it's a potential avoidance of about $600,000 of a loss if we were based solely on enrollment. So what this means also is the state is starting to recognize that this FTE reimbursement in years of declining enrollment for community colleges does not make sense. And so this is a starting point. Normally, our starting point is flat state aid with reduced enrollment, so we're sustaining a cut, and then the Assembly and Senate comes to our rescue and we get something, or at least we get the same starting point. Last year was a 98% funding floor. The budget will reset Excelsior tuition rates. That may not sound too exciting, but for us, anybody that applies for and receives an Excelsior scholarship, Excelsior scholarship, has been paying the tuition rate from 2016-17. This budget has a reset of the tuition rate for Excelsior. It will require a reset each and every year. The other big item for us is the part-time TAP. Right now, individuals that go part-time are not eligible, so that will be expanding eligibility for part-time. Plus, they are looking at TAP for individuals that are incarcerated. Again, these, I believe, are very positive for us. The next steps are the SUNY board is meeting to discuss advocacy strategy. The executive committee will unanimously recommend that we focus on not the floor based upon the current year, but the floor based upon pre-pandemic. So if we focus on something pre-pandemic, that would mean about $1 million more for this college as far as state aid. The end of March, early March, executive and legislature agree on a revenue bill. During the month of February, the House and Senate will release their one House bills. And then if all goes in accordance with the plan, we will have, as Jeff indicated, a budget in place by February 1st. Some of the other items, we are funded very different from the four-year schools. So the four-year schools received an additional almost $49 million in support, and indirect support is $98 million. And what that means is the four-year schools are part of the state budget. Their employee benefits are included as a state budget appropriation. So when they do their budget, they don't have to worry about employee benefits, where obviously for us it's a significant cost at the community college level. For community college, there's also money, it's not defined right now, there's money, $53 million included for full-time faculty. We're not sure if that will trickle down to community colleges or if it's targeting just the state ops. And then an increase in EOC. There's educational opportunity centers throughout the state of New York, some affiliated with community colleges, some others not. Ours, local EOC, is not affiliated with us. They will receive an increase, and EOP will receive an increase. We certainly get EOP funding, so that's positive. At the community college level, it's a whopping 0.9% increase. Again, this is a good budget for us. It's not a decrease, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not significant monies for the community colleges. And the only other item I'll mention included in the governor's budget is funding of the 2 capital projects that we had submitted. It starts with inclusion in the county executive budget, and we have to file paperwork with the state. So both capital projects, facility master plan phase 1, a $3 million project, 1.5 local share, 1.5 state share, as well as the ECC City Roof project, which is a $2 million project. They were both included in the governor's budget, and I'd say 99.9% of the time, anything included in the governor's budget as a line item for capital is sustained through the Assembly and Senate process and becomes part of the final budget. So that is it for the state budget. It's a good starting point. We will probably get a better handle early February on the direction of advocacy. The chairwoman and I had a discussion the other day. That means for us reaching out to our Senate, Assembly people, our legislators to all rally around that, not 100% floor of last year, but 100% floor of pre-pandemic. And that would be a significant increase for all community colleges, including SUNY Erie. So I'm not, any questions? The whole governor's budget was included in the information that was disseminated for the board meeting.
Bill, that's a nice summary. Thank you. I would recommend to everyone on the call, and particularly fellow trustees, take a good hard look at our materials on page 106, which is a summary of the executive budget. And as a reminder, what I said during the committee of the whole is we all have to remember that this is simply the governor's proposal. It is not finalized. It won't be finalized till roughly April 1st, hopefully. But it's a good indicator of where the governor is and where the executive branch is in terms of funding. One thing that you have to bear in mind, and Bill touched on this as you read this, is there's a lot of references to SUNY. And you begin to think, well, that's good, that's us. But there is a distinction between how community colleges and how the four-year colleges are handled and treated under the New York State budget. And Bill has mentioned this many times in his reports, and I think we've all internalized it. The overall tone of the executive budget is highly positive for education. And I say this as a person who works with a lot of secondary schools, pay a lot of attention to this. But community colleges are unfortunately not as well treated as certainly the secondary schools. Everyone has one in their district, and the four-year colleges. So as you read it, just be a little cautious as you see references to nice increases for SUNY. That doesn't necessarily translate into nice increases for us. But the tone is pretty good, and we should pay close attention in the next 2 months and be in the ears of influential people when we can about treating community colleges well, better, but also be very appreciative of just how this looks generally. I'm excited about it. I'll stop there.
And Jeff, thank you for that. And I did forget to mention one key thing that was included in the governor's budget, but then yesterday we just received notification that effective immediately, no SUNY 2 or 4 year school can withhold students' transcripts if they have an outstanding balance, and that was certainly a opportunity for us to make sure that our student bad debt was somewhat limited. Now we no longer have that ability. So that was a practice. It's part of this whole practice of unfair lending for students, and the governor's taking a lot of direct action to stop the punitive debt collection practice at higher education institutions. So it's good for our students. It's going to hurt us in our collection efforts, but I think it's still a positive development.
Is that permanent?
Yep.
Immediately.
So that's going to require a change of our policy then.
It will. Just came out yesterday, Kate.
So can we put that on the agenda for next time?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's you're right, Bill. Definitely is two ways to look at it. The thing that I would say it should motivate the college, like our financial advisors and such, to work with students and tapping into additional funding sources such as foundations, scholarships and things like that. And it also could show the need. I mean, this is talking about bad debt, of course, but going forward, how we work to make sure that balances are taken care of for the students in need going forward. So it could also be a good thing where students who were now limited to continuing their education are now able to register at schools, and likely would try a community college before a 4-year institution to start over. So we can look at it that way as well. I think we do have to figure out the financial impact of it, yes, but it could also, it could be very positive.
Can we lobby then for, to be made whole on that money that we're losing from the state as we are looking at budget negotiations?
I think we should tap into NYCCT to see what they're doing about what the conversation is there. I know there's a conference or something coming up soon. I'll get that information.
But it's community colleges are going to be hit by this the most because, more than SUNY. So as a whole, I think we do need to be part of a lobbying effort to at least, nobody's discounting the value of the intent, but let's not, let's recognize that it's coming at a cost and we need to figure out how to fill the hole.
Yeah, for instance, student bad debt for the college last year was $2.7 million. It's still a significant issue for us. So this is, that's with the ability to withhold transcripts, ability to stop them from enrolling until their debt is taken care of. And that was on top of the $24 million of federal stimulus that went direct to students. So it's still a very significant issue for community colleges specifically. Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. So as far as old and new business, I'm just going to combine the two. I would like to take this moment. Kelly, do you have something for us?
Looks delicious.
Well, I mean, I know Bill's
You made
morning.
me credit. She said yes.
Good, she did. She all night labored just for you.
Wow.
But I know your morning runs could easily take those calories off. But on behalf of the Board of Trustees, Bill, this being your last meeting as interim president, we wanted to just reserve a special time and moment just to honor you, just to I mean, I don't know how many times I've said thank you, but just to recognize the service that you have given to this college, not just during this time period, but from, years back when you started, and also serving as interim prior to this period. We wanted to recognize the time commitment. I know firsthand the time commitment that he has put into college. When everyone went home and, went about their business, he was still reading through and trying to decipher information and learn and catch up, you know, well into the nights and the evenings. And I wanted to recognize that. And he did that not because he was, getting some great salary or just, because he had some agenda. He did that because he loved the college and he really wanted the college to succeed, and not to mention the people in the college to succeed. People who sent him, text messages during meetings that they weren't happy, and he still had to kind of conduct meetings and leave and go from here and there. I think it is admirable, to say the least, of what you were able to do. And I am one of those people, just so you know, who sends text messages through meetings. Bill has been not just a vast wealth of knowledge for each and every one of us. I know personally, coming in as a trustee, chairing the financial, it was called the Financial Health Committee at that time. Financial Health Committee, 3-4 months in, not knowing anything, Bill was there to help coach and guide me, and continue to do so to this day. I want to just kind of go back a little bit and talk about, and if anyone has to drop off, I completely understand, but Bill came in with a cyber attack. He came in with COVID. He came in with huge enrollment declines. He came in with, and I'm going to just be completely blunt and say this, staff who were not really great participants in his progress. And he had to literally start from scratch to get this done. He is on a skeleton of a SES team right now. He has managed to put together key personnel and individuals to push things forward. Bill has been able to work with our funders to get money, right? From funders who were not ECC cheerleaders. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. We did not have a good name in our communities. And I'm not talking about with our students, our future students. I'm talking about with our funders, with our leaders. They had no confidence in SUNY Erie. And Bill has restored that confidence, and working so, or at least trying to work so hard to build connections and build future connections. The work that is coming out of the conversations with the, I'm gonna say it wrong, Bill, but the Amherst Council, gosh, I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but that council, these in connection with business leaders who are saying, we want to invest in this college, this campus. We want to beautify it. We want to add resources to it. We want to do this. Bill is sitting right there at the table, and he has been doing that all along. I can go on and on and on about just how how good and how great of a job he is, how great of a person I think he is. Um, I, I will come to your defense anytime, if when it's necessary. I just really, as a board chair, I am so grateful to have had these last 18, 20, I don't even know how long months with you side by side to not just keep the balls in the air, because literally that was the task at first, right? To keep the balls in the air. He has not just kept the balls in the air, but he is now just shooting shots at this point and making them, 3 points, half courts. Bill has been able to do that. And I know that this transition is not, it happened fast, and you are still so vital to the success of it. And I mean, I just appreciate so much that you said, yes, I'll stay on a little longer. I know your wife wants you home, probably. Your chickens want you home. The bees are coming back soon, but you can keep them all there, hopefully, and not in my front yard. But I'm just so grateful that you said yes to giving a little bit more of your time and of yourself to this college. So I mean, I know this isn't the end, but I thought that it was important that we stop for a moment just to say that. And I'll let my other trustees join in and give you your flowers.
Yeah, if I could, this is Len Monahan. I was board chair when Bill came in, and again, it's just hard to overstate the situation we were in and the level of challenge that Bill had to face when he came through those doors. So, the level of skill, talent, and tenacity that you provided put us in a position where we could attract a top flight candidate for president for the future. And Denise, it's hard to overstate. And Denise, I think, put things beautifully, but you brought back credibility to the school. We were hanging by our fingertips when you came in. A president was moving on, a finance person was moving on. There was just so many issues at a time where the pandemic was just had us by the throat, and the enrollment started declining, and the budget was in a state of disarray. And you brought not only credibility but discipline. You brought a plan to keep us afloat and to put us in this position to have a future to look forward to. And I think that you will continue to be, I think, a valuable asset to the school as an advisor and as a, participant in the affairs of this college. I hope for, a long time to come. But it's just no level of just value you can put on what you contributed. So I just want to, Bill, wish you the best. Hopefully we're going to be seeing a lot more of you and you staying with this great school. And, always understand that our ability to go forward is because you came here for 19 months. And so we're very appreciative. Thank you.
Bill, it's Jeff. I would, the beautiful summaries, Denise and Len. I won't add much to that. I'll just remember not knowing you when I first came on the board, and when the president left and financial person left. And I remember at that time, I think it was Len and Denise and others on the board, many were saying, what we really need here is Bill Reuter to help us here in this time. And they couldn't have been more correct. I didn't know that firsthand, but I sure do now why those comments were apropos at the time. So Bill, you've become a good friend to all of us in the college community and on the Board of Trustees, and you'll always have a very, very warm and welcome spot at SUNY Erie Community College. And glad to see your service and formal relationship with us is continuing here as you figure out what you want to do in your personal life here as your really excellent career continues. We're glad it continues with us. Stop there.
Bill, I would just say, it's hard to think of a more tumultuous time that anybody has ever taken over the helm of this college. I mean, think of all that's happened in the last 19 months. And all I can say is you stabilized us, you re-energized us, and you inspired us. And I want to just thank you for that.
Thank you, and I really am at a loss for words, so I won't say anything other than I thank trustees putting the confidence in me to bring me back. I know there was some issues with that whole situation, and maybe people working behind the scenes not to bring me back. It was a perfect role for me because that's what I enjoyed. It wasn't a perfect situation because, as Kate just said, it was tumultuous at best. We have faced a lot. There are still challenges. Please don't think everything's great. We still have some significant financial difficulties. We have collective bargaining agreements, 3 of which that have expired, and the concerns of enrollment and the decisions about the future of South Campus. These are big decisions and big issues and big conversations that will continue under David Balkin's leadership. So thanks for the opportunity. It's been my pleasure to serve you, trustees, the college, the staff, and most importantly, the students. Maybe my biggest regret is because of COVID, I didn't get a chance on the big stage at Buffalo State for graduation, which is always the pinnacle of any president's time as the president. So with that, I thank you. I thank you for the donuts, the cupcakes. I'm eyeing probably the red velvet to hit on first, but I certainly need to bring a couple home for my wife and dog, and then the rest will be going to staff here. And I thank Kelly for keeping these board meetings going. Bob I did see him sweat a little today at first. Bob's usually on it, and he was having some technical difficulties, and of course, Gail. And thank you for recognizing Adium and making her permanent today, as well as Gail, and providing that early retirement center. There's a lot of good people. Denise mentioned the skeleton staff, the SES team. I inherited the direct reports when I got here. There's only one, thankfully, Tracy Archie of that group is still here at the college. So we've gone through a lot of changes, but I think Dr. Balkin is walking into a situation where there is excellence in leadership at this institution. And then finally, I will also offer my many thanks to Phil Struble. Phil, as you may not know, has decided not to continue in the role. He was interim VP of Enrollment Management. We are doing an active search for that. Phil has asked and is going back to Director of Admissions, but Phil really stepped up to the plate and filled a void for us when Steve Smith left. And so, Phil, my hat's off, my heartfelt thanks to you, and I appreciate everybody at the college. So thank you.
You are very welcome, and thank you, Phil, for stepping up and when we needed you the most. So I appreciate that. I really do. Yeah. Okay. So with that being said, where are we? Schedule. Oh, I'm sorry. New business. Oh.
Old business.
Old business. Old business. Is there any old business? Oh, and for my old business, let me just wanted to say that Tracy Cleveland, our HR person, resigned in December. And so we want to wish her well and her new career endeavors. Any other old business? Any new business? Okay. great. So the schedule of next month's meeting will be February 24th, following the committee of the whole at 10:30 via WebEx. And we are still WebEx until we can get this COVID stuff. We tried and they put us right back on WebEx. With that being said, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, I don't think it's anymore. All right. Have a great day, everyone, and stay warm. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Great
Thank
meeting.
you.
Great. See you soon.
Bye-bye.